Hi everyone, so this is part 2 of the Master Key Theorist. So what we're going to do in today's session, I am going to give you some information on different theorists today. So let's just have a quick review of what we've covered. So the last PowerPoint review, we looked at intellectual development and I give you some information on emotional development. So part 1 will allow you to revise that. And what I'm going to do today is the red section. I'm going to go into nature versus nurture. However, I'm not going to discuss the stress diathesis model in this section. I'm going to leave that until next time because we are going to do a little bit more in class in regards to that. So we are just going to look at more information into the nature-nurture debate, okay? And we're just going to look at 2 theories today. So please use part 1 if you would like to look more into intellectual development or emotional development. And part 2, which is today's, we're going to look at Giselle's theory of maturation, which provides points for the nature argument, and Bandura's social learning theory, which provides points for the nature argument. Let's revisit what nature versus nurture actually is. And so I have said in class a number of times, make sure you are aware of these and you're not getting yourself confused. Nature is the genetic inheritance, okay, and other biological factors. So we spoke in class and we said they were our physical appearances, biological influences, which can be genetic disorders, etc. And then we've got our nurture. So nurture is the external influence. This is on development such as the environment you grow up or your social influences. So we know this is our upbringing. This can help define maybe our morals, certain behaviours, etc. Just to revisit in regards to the nature argument, so this links to part 1. We know that Bowlby's theory of attachment links to nature, and we know that Chomsky links to nature as well in regards to language. Remember the key term for these 2, innate. Again, I'm not going to go into depth with this just purely because it's on the other YouTube video. And then we've got the nature argument, which is Bandura, and we're going to cover his theory today. Firstly though, I'm going to go into some information about Giselle's theory of maturation. He believes in the nature side of the debate. He was a psychologist, a paediatrician, which meant he worked with young children, and he was interested in children's biological maturation. So he believed that part of the growth was determined, so it was genetically determined. In the 1940s to 1950s, he developed a new methodology or normative approach to research in child development, and he observed a large number of children to find that skills and abilities most children had in each age groups. So Giselle's theory of maturation essentially believes in norms and milestones, and he believes that children will develop in a certain pace no matter what, because it was in our genetics that we have to develop in some sort of way. He noted that every child moved through the sequence at their own pace, but came to the conclusion that development was predetermined, okay, and the environment actually had little influence. So although we talk about milestones in regards to crawling and walking, we could argue in this sense that Giselle believes that we were always born, if possible, to walk, to crawl, etc. If we didn't see this in our environment, so if we didn't see crawling, we would naturally begin to do this anyway. And same with walking. Don't forget, this is not a fact. This is a theory, so you can put your own spin on this. If a child experiences delayed development, then the problem is hereditary rather than the result of the child's environment and circumstances. We have discussed this in class in regards to the hereditary disorders, and we did argue for the argument of Giselle's maturation theory, so this is where we believe in it. And we did say most of the time when children are delayed within their talking, within their walking, there may be a reason behind this. So they could have a physical disability or a learning disability, and this supports Giselle's theory because it is hereditary why they aren't developing. It's not due to their environments per se. Milestones then are helpful for educators and parents to measure children's development and begin to recognise developmental delay. It's always important, however, to recognise individual differences in children. and that are influenced by environmental factors. So, critics of Giselle's theory suggest that maturation theory is not helpful in explaining individual or cultural differences or for children with learning difficulties. Sometimes learning difficulties can be caused by the environment that you are potentially in. It could be the education sectors that you're in. Maybe you're not able to go to school or education due to certain reasons. So we need to consider that. And in regards to cultural differences, this is also a really good point as well. You could argue the side of different cultures don't believe that children can go to school. So therefore, is it hereditary or is it because of their environment? So consider that, please. Make sure you are providing a for and against argument. Then we looked at nature, okay? So this is a theory where Bandura believes that children learn not from the genetics, but more so from what they believe, what they've seen in their environment, He believes that children learn behaviour from imitating others. So especially significant people. So significant people can be someone they admire. Also, he believes that children act in regards to be rewarded for the behaviour. So we'll go into that a little bit further. Albert Bandura believes that we have a process in which we learn behaviour. And this is our availability of the behaviour, the child's attention, the ability of retention, reproduction and motivation. So let's look through. Don't forget there is a video online which I will attach the link. The behaviour needs to be available to see, okay? So we've discussed this in class. Where do you think behaviour can be learned from? Well, we can see it at home, when we are in play centres, day centres, schools, etc. The child must be able to notice the behaviour or we will not be able to learn it. So the amount of attention we pay is influenced by the characteristics of the model. So if we see someone who we believe is powerful or prestigious, like a parent, like a teacher, like a friend we look up to, we will pay more attention to their behaviour and how they act. Retention, so the behaviour must be able to be retained. So the child must be old enough to be able to look at what's going on and retain that information within their brain. The reproduction, the child must be able to be capable of performing the behaviour. So we did say in class once, if you had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, who's more likely to copy the behaviour? We all agreed that the 4-year-old would, because they are able to act out the behaviours a little bit more. Motivation. So children must be motivated to copy the behaviour. It must be something that they believe will catch attention of others, in which most circumstances it does happen. They are the 5 factors in regards to this, okay? Keywords in regards to social learning theory. Positive reinforcements. So the behaviour is repeated because of personal satisfaction or rewards. So we said that children tend to imitate behaviour because they want personal satisfaction or a reward, okay? So if we mirror positive behaviour and a child mirrors it too, and they are rewarded, they may think, well, do you know what? I am going to carry on doing this a bit more because I want to carry on being rewarded. Negative reinforcement, the behaviour is not repeated to avoid an adverse experience such as lack of satisfaction or avoid being told off. Sometimes when a child acts out and they're not rewarded, so they're given a punishment, they may not act out that behaviour again. Although critics would argue that sometimes with negative reinforcement, if this is the child's only way that they can get attention of an adult, they will act in this way, okay? So not always a child will want positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement can be just as important if that's how they're getting their attention of an adult. Have a quick go at doing this exam question then, please. So you can pause the screen now and have a go. It's worth 2 marks, okay? Briefly outline the key differences between nature and nurture. Off you go. Okay, so if you said nature is a result of inherited or innate or genetic factors, and nature is a result of your environment, then you would have achieved 2 marks. So thank you for listening to this part 2. Part 3 will be coming soon enough once we've completed the rest of the theories. Keep revising and keep using these YouTube videos. Thank you.